In this episode, we're going to be talking about the top 10 tight ends for Dynasty fantasy football.
Everything's on fire. Everything's on fire. Everything's on fire.
Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification icon so you can stay up to date with all of our free fantasy football content. Now, on to what you wanted to hear about, our top 10 tight ends. Number 1 overall, not a surprise, just like all our other top 10 videos. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you do. The number 1 guy is very easy to see if you're part of the community at all. George Kittle, tight end, San Francisco 49ers. His weakest season as a rookie is probably better or as good as so many other guys' best seasons. He had 515 yards on like 43 receptions, multiple touchdowns. The kid, you could see it from early on that he was a beast, and he's continued to do that. Back-to-back 1,000-plus seasons, 5 touchdowns each of those seasons. Obviously, the number 1 tight end, you expect him to get at least 1,000-plus yards receiving. You would like to see a little bit more than 5 touchdowns, but even with this kind of 1,000-plus yards and somewhere in the 5 to 7 range touchdown-wise, he's still going to be tight end 1. Number 2, maybe a little bit of a surprise, but it's not to us in the community. We love Mark Andrews from the Baltimore Ravens. When he was coming out, he was one of our favorite tight ends in that draft class. Surprisingly enough, Baltimore drafted Hayden Hurst in the first round and waited a few before they got Andrews. But Andrews' supreme talent and athletic profile beat out Hurst. And obviously, injuries and some other things played a factor there, but Andrews made the most of the opportunity, and he showed well on the field. He's a big play threat at Oklahoma. He's a big play threat here in the NFL. He's a guy that last season, he put up 60-plus catches, 800-plus receiving yards, and 10 touchdowns. He's a guy that Lamar trusts and looks for when the play breaks down, and that will continue to be that way. They've added some big play weapons, but they added a lot of speed, and that's to help kind of continue to keep this high octane offense going. Andrews is still going to see a ton of targets, ton of catches, ton of yards. Hopefully he's going to see 10 touchdowns, but that's probably more of an outlier. He's probably more in the 6 to 8 range at most. But that's still tight end 1 numbers, and he's super young and got a long way to go before he starts to even begin to lose value. Tight end 1 for many years to come. Number 3, Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chiefs. Kelce continues to just put up 1,000-yard seasons. He's now had 4 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Sadly, though, only 2018 did he catch double-digit touchdowns, and that was 10 double-digit right on the dot. The thing that we love about Kelce, even though he's getting a little up there in age, is that Mahomes loves him. Mahomes targets him, and he continues to just be the man. They have a lot of great weapons, but Kelce's kind of their 1B option. Him and Tyreek are kind of their top options at the receiving game. So Kelce, we're comfortable with saying, a top 5 tight end, kind of a top tight end for some time to come. Number 4, Zach Ertz, Philadelphia Eagles. Ertz is a target hog, but he's not a catch hog. He gets 100-plus targets a season, but he's only had 1 season where he caught 100-plus catches. The interesting thing is some of it is quarterback play in his time. Some of it is the fact that Dallas Goedert is on the roster and he continues to ascend to become, and as talented as he is, Ertz is just that much more talented. And while he's on this roster, and while he's an Eagle, and while he's still producing at this high level, he's still a tight end 1. And we're not afraid to say that probably for the next couple seasons that he'll be a tight end 1 as long as he's in this offense and getting this target share. Now, obviously, with Goedert, that's going to continue to even out a little bit more, and you're probably going to see Goedert come up a little bit in targets. But Ertz has a pretty solid catch rate, and it's gotten better over time. So we think that there'll be some evening out there to keep him in the top 5 of tight ends for a little while to come. Number 5 may be a surprise, but if he just wasn't injured nearly as often as he is, he would be easily a top 5 tight end. That being said, Evan Engram, New York Giants. Engram, in his rookie season, kind of had a big coming out party. 15 games, and he had plenty of action and was sky's the limit. Since then, it's been a little different for him. He's only played in 11 games and 8 games in the 2 seasons since his rookie year. As he develops chemistry with Daniel Jones, we expect big things. The running game continues to be a focal point. Teams are gonna stack the box, and that opens up the opportunity for Engram to get kind of big chunk plays, big chunk yardage plays. As long as he's healthy, we expect him to be a top 5 tight end. After this, though, so from 1 through 5, it was very clear the consensus of the team. From 6 to 10, there's a little bit more parity. So we kind of see this as a tier break. Your top 5 guys are solid locks at top 5. 6 through 10 are guys that you could kind of shift around depending on who you like more. This is the way that we have them. So at number 6, we have Hunter Henry, LA Chargers. Now, another guy like Engram, who's been fighting through injuries most of his career, he's a guy that the thing that we love about him is just the consistency to him. He's such a good catcher. He's got 70+% catch rates in his time with the Chargers. He is like a 12+ yards per catch type receiver. He's a big play guy. And with a big-armed rookie quarterback to grow and develop with, we may not see Herbert start. We may not see Herbert early on in the season. It may be the Tyrod Taylor show. But Hunter Henry's going to see action. He's going to see a lion's share of targets. He's probably their number 2 target when you think of Keenan Allen, probably then Hunter Henry, then Mike Williams when it comes to kind of who they're targeting. Don't forget, obviously, Austin Eckler involved in that conversation as well. So we like Hunter Henry as a tight end 1 for some time to come. Number 7, Noah Fant, Denver Broncos. 7 and 8 for us are guys that were on the same team. We're really in contention for kind of who was your favorite tight end in the draft last year. But our team likes Fant more when it looks at the consensus rankings. He's a big play threat. He's in an offense that's full of firepower. There's a lot of opportunity for him to get good targets. They've got blockers on the roster, so that Fant's not really going to be kept in line to block. He's going to be used as a weapon. So we're excited about Fant. We definitely think that he's got a bright future as a fantasy star. Number 8 is his running mate, T.J. Hawkinson. Hawkinson went to the Lions. He went top 10, so people were very concerned, obviously with the Ebron and Pettigrews recently as first round kind of busts in Detroit. Ebron obviously wasn't a bust completely, but he didn't do well in Detroit. Hawkinson has kind of a big shadow to kind of to step out from, and he did a good job in week 1. He had 100+ yards, multiple touchdowns. Things were looking up for him, but then that offense kind of went off the rails. Stafford got hurt, and they kind of had the who's who of who quarterbacks filling in. So Hawkinson ended the season, only playing in 12 games, only getting 59 targets, 32 catches, 367, and 2 touchdowns. That doesn't look good, but it wasn't his fault. He is a very dynamic tight end. We believe the sky's the limit. He's a guy that you should be targeting as one of the top tight ends in fantasy football. Number 9, Zach Ertz's partner, Dallas Goedert, Philadelphia Eagles. Even with such an amazing tight end like Zach Ertz on the roster, Goedert still doubled up his targets from year 1 to year 2. And obviously we don't expect him to double up targets in year 3, but we expect him to get 80+ targets. He's going to have a fair amount of action, even though they brought in, the Jalen Ragers and Hightowers of the world at the receiver position. Goedert is consistent. He's a red zone threat. He's going to get deployed in a lot of different ways. And with 2 tight end sets, they really have a lot of different chess pieces to kind of keep the defenses guessing. We love Goedert long term. We think he's a very, very good tight end and one that you should be targeting. Mike Gesecki is our final guy on this list, Miami Dolphins at number 10. Gesecki had a really rough rookie campaign, and though we expected him to have a really rough second year because you could tell that the Dolphins were really trying to rebuild that roster, he showed out really well. 89 targets, 51 catches, 570 yards, and 5 touchdowns. A vast improvement from year 1 to year 2. We've seen them do a lot to help that offense. They're working on the offensive line. They added a quarterback that once he gets back to health, will really do a good job getting the ball distributed among the different playmakers on that offense. Ryan Fitzpatrick will do a good job, and Gesecki will still get a lot of targets with Fitzpatrick at the helm. So it really should be a pretty smooth transition from the vet quarterback to the rookie, and that'll be good for Gesecki. He's a very talented tight end, and he's a guy that you can target, and really he's a guy that you should be able to get. I don't want to say a discount on, but people aren't nearly as high on him as they are some of the others. So if you're really interested in getting a share of Gesecki, now is kind of that time where you really don't want to wait till he has another good campaign and he builds on it, because then you're really going to have to pay a premium to get him. Let us know what you think. This is our top 10 tight ends. Who is your top 10? What do you like about our top 10? What don't you like? Hit us up in the comments below. Let us know what you're thinking. Don't forget to check out rotoheat.com for all of your free fantasy football content, rankings, ADP, all the stuff you're looking for is over on rotoheat.com.
Also, right there, playlist. Hit it. Watch the videos. Do it. You want to. Do it.